Hello everyone. So today we're talking about Apollo 13, a real life space mission that went wrong, and how the crew and NASA worked together to bring everyone home. So Apollo 13, directed by Ron Howard, is not a typical space movie about heroic success. Its novelty lies in turning a failed mission into a gripping story of survival, intelligence, and teamwork. The film redefines heroism by focusing on problem solving rather than spectacle. So this is basically a disaster movie without a villain. Most Hollywood disaster films rely on villains, aliens, war, and exaggerated threats. But Apollo 13 is original because the enemy is not a person but a malfunction. The explosion is accidental, nature and physics are the obstacle. The tension comes from real limitations of science. This makes the conflict intellectual rather than violent, which was rare for mainstream cinema. Coming to the heroism part, that is heroism through intelligence, not action. Unlike action heroes, the astronauts do not fight or escape dramatically. Uh, the original elements being survival depends on engineering calculations. Solutions are created using limited tools already in space. And we've got one famous line from this movie, which is we've got to find a way to make this fit into the hole for this using nothing but that. The film celebrates collective intelligence, not individual bravery. This was kind of innovative, but it was made thinking cinematic. Coming to the documentary part of the movie is the movie's originality lies in its extreme realism. Dialogues closely follow real NASA transcripts. Sets are designed with technical accuracy. Zero gravity scenes were shot in real parabolic flights, which are not CGI. So, yeah, this gives the audience the feeling of watching history unfold, not fiction. At the time, this level of realism in space films was groundbreaking. Coming to the teamwork as a central theme is would be like unlike traditional hero-centric narratives, Apollo 13 highlights astronauts, mission control engineers, scientists working behind the scenes. Everyone is contributing equally. The film's originality lies in showing institutional heroism, how systems, planning, and collaboration saves lives. This approach reflects real organizational behavior and leadership principles. Coming to the emotional part of the movie, which is this movie kind of avoids exaggerated emotions as it does not. So, yeah, in my opinion, the movie Apollo 13 is quite original and yeah, it is very much realistic. So, yeah, thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Vinod Kumar. I am going to talk about the key learnings and the takeaways that I have learned from watching the movie Apollo 13. Apollo 13 is not just a movie about space exploration, it's a movie that teaches various life situations such as teamwork, making decisions under pressure, innovation, and also training. The major takeaway that I have learned from watching the movie is teamwork over individual brilliance. So, in the movie, when the oxygen tank in the spaceship exploded, the spacecraft lost its power and oxygen. This is a problem which the astronauts cannot solve on their own. At the same time, the engineers at the NASA started working together non-stop so that they can find a solution. The thing that we can learn from this is that the astronauts nor the engineers try to blame one another, rather than they are working as a team and trying to make solutions in order to save the astronauts in the aircraft. They are working non-stop and have a collaboration, and the feedback with one another passing makes the astronauts survive. Okay, the another major takeaway we can learn from this: calm decision making under pressure. So we can, in the movie, when the oxygen tank explodes, the alarms in the aircraft and the system started to falling. Despite in the danger, the astronauts not panic. The commander Jim calmly reports to the NASA that they have a problem, rather than reacting emotionally and making their crew members feel uncomfortable and safe, and the NASA members in Houston to feel more pressure. They are taking slow things slowly and collecting their information and making decisions calmly under the pressure, rather than taking things irrationally based on their work pressure. So we can learn that one should be calm under pressure, and staying calm during a crisis allows one to beat the uh, crisis rather than panicking and running around doing nothing. So another major learnings we get from the movie is importance of preparation and training. Throughout the movie we can see before the astronauts enter their mission, they are preparing for their mission regularly, even the day before their mission starts. Even when the team members was rejected, rather than introduce a new team member in the crew, they are not making fights with one another. Rather than they are preparing and training with one another so that they can understand one another and work together as a team. We can see that in the movie, and they're understanding each other and not pushing problems or saying that they are the reasons for the problem. They are trained and prepared by the discipline of preparation training. They are not making decisions irrationally, they are making decisions calmly under the pressure. So the importance of training and the preparations strikes here. So the another important thing is that I have learned from the movie is innovation with the limited resources. In the movie, when the aircraft loses its oxygen tank, they staying calm, and the engineers at the NASA started to work together, make solutions based on the data of the items they have available in the spaceship, so that they are trying to make something like the air filter for the carbon dioxide filtration. So based on the things they have in the spacecraft, they are not trying something out of the blue. They are making a new innovative product based on the resources that are available, rather than quitting and saying it is impossible, which is awesome thing. So the major and the important key learnings I have learned from the movie Apollo 13 is leadership during crisis. Throughout the mission, the leaders in the NASA or the commander Jim at the aircraft is very focused on finding solutions rather than pushing blame on one another. They are encouraging one another with ideas and listening to everyone and maintaining dignity of clarity in communication, rather than showing distrust or anger or making decisions irrationally. So, the leaders in the Apollo 13 movie shows that how calm guidance and accountability and respect and trust in the team, a true leadership bonds. And during this in crisis, stability and clear communication can solve every crisis, rather than panicking and not trusting with one another, which causes more problems. In conclusion, Apollo 13, a movie based on real life events, teaches how to be prepared and be innovative and calm thinking and leadership. These are the takeaways that I have learned from watching the movie. Thank you.
Everyone. Hi, ma'am. I'm Envy Srikar from FBA 3 of MBA batch 2025-27, and I am here presenting the strengths of the movie Apollo 13 for my BCRW CII 3. So, coming to Apollo 13, in 1995, Ron Howard, the director, released this film about a space mission where the audience knew the ending and everyone knew the crew made it home. Yet 30 years later, Apollo 13 remains the gold standard for survival cinema. The major strength of this film is its commitment to authenticity over melodrama. At a time when action movies were leaning into explosions and quips, Apollo 13 found its tension in the clicking of a slide rule and the condensation on a window. It doesn't need a villain. The antagonist is the loss of the physics and the cold vacuum of space. By grounding the story in the way it actually happened, the stakes feel infinitely higher because they feel real. You can't talk about the strengths of this film without talking about the visuals. Before the era of seamless CGI, Ron Howard and his team did something insane. They filmed in actual zero gravity by using NASA's KC-135 parabolic aircraft, affectionately known as the Comet. The actors weren't hanging on wires. They were truly floating. This creates a physical language in the film that is impossible to fake. You see the way a tether drifts or how a bead of sweat hangs in the air. Beyond the physics, the production design is a triumph. The mission control set was built so accurately that the flight controllers from the actual mission walked in and felt like they were back at work. This lived in technology makes the spacecraft feel like a fragile tin can, highlighting the bravery of the men trapped inside it. At its heart, Apollo 13 is the ultimate example of what we call competence porn. We love watching people who are incredibly good at their jobs solve impossible problems. The script brilliantly balances three distinct arenas: the capsule, Jim Lovell, Fred Hayes, and Jack Swigert dealing with the freezing temperatures and rising carbon dioxide levels. Mission controls, Gene Kranz, played ironically by Ed Harris, managing the chaos on the ground. The home front, Marilyn Lovell and their families providing the emotional weight that reminds us why the math matters. The performance of the ensemble, Tom Hanks, Bacon, Paxton, and Sinnes, is restrained. There are no ego driven monologues. Instead, we see collective intelligence. The scene where engineers have to fit a square peg in a round hole using only the items available on the ship is the is arguably the most thrilling action sequence in the 90s cinema, and it involves nothing but duct tape and cardboard. This film is a masterclass in rhythmic editing. The transition from the violent, bone-shaking roar of Saturn V launch to the pin-drop silence of the orbit is breathtaking. And there's James Horner's score. Instead of a bombastic Star Wars-style anthem, Horner used a haunting solo trumpet and a choral arrangement. It captures the loneliness of the moon and the nobility of the effort. It doesn't tell you to be excited. It tells you to be in awe. Ultimately, the greatest strength of Apollo 13 is its theme, the triumph of humanity in human ingenuity under pressure. It redefined the hero. A hero isn't someone who punches a monster. A hero is someone who stays calm and when the oxygen is at 5%, looks at the team and says, let's work the problem. It's a movie that celebrates the best of us, our brains, our grit, our refusal to give up on each other. 30 years later, it's still one step for film, one giant leap for storytelling. Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Shweta and today I am here to talk about movie Apollo 13 and specifically where I think the movie could have been done better. Now look, don't get me wrong, it's a great film. They have done an incredible job and the acting is solid and technically it's accurate. But every movie has its flaws, right? So today we will be discussing the areas of improvement for the movie Apollo 13. Okay, so here's the thing. The whole movie is basically about these three guys, Jack, Jim, and Fred. And yes, we got to know them pretty well, but what about everyone else? Think about it. You have got all these people at Mission Control who are working day and night to bring these people back home, but we barely know anything about them. Like Gene Kranz, he's the badass flight attendant director, super competent, but who is he beyond his job? Like, does he have a family? What's going through his mind? We never really find out. And the families, same problem. We never got to know their own life, their personality, their story. I feel like if the movie had shown us more, maybe some quick glances about the engineers' families or what they are sacrificing personally to solve this crisis, it would have been hit harder emotionally. Because this wasn't just three guys in the space, this was hundred of people on the ground fighting to save them, and we should have felt that more. Next, it's about the pacing. The beginning, it was fantastic. The end, edge of your seat stuff. But the middle, I think it literally drags a lot. It talks about the engineers sitting around doing calculations, talking about CO2 level, power consumptions, and all these technical stuff. And I agree that all these things are right. But unless you are into aerospace engineering, which, hey, some people are, but not everyone is into technical stuff. So for them, it was kind of a problem. Like people look stressed, they solve it, but they never really get to know what exactly it is. So I think what would have been help it more like show something what's happening outside NASA, like how the people are reacting, how the media is reacting, and how the other countries are reacting, whether they were watching this too or not. So to just give a breather from all the technical jargons that the movie was focusing on to. Now, this is not entirely the filmmaker issue, but we all know how the story ends, right? The astronaut make it home safely. It's history. So from the moment the movie starts, there is like no real suspense about whether they will survive or not. So I think the movie could have been gotten more creative on the side how they told this story. So instead of showing how they landing safely and how they went to the space and then they faced issue and then how the engineers worked on this and they landed safely. Instead of that, they could have started the movie with these three guys landed safely and then went back to show how they did it, make it more about how than the what, or really lean into those moments when NASA didn't know if their solution would work or not. And the other thing that bothered me was during the Apollo 13 mission, there was this Cold War happening between the Soviet Union and the US, where there was a space race between them, but the movie barely mentions about it. And honestly, I would have loved to see some of those harder questions explode. So yeah, the movie is great, and these are the few weaknesses that I see in Apollo 13. And movie did really well, but it could have been much better. Thanks for listening.
Hi everyone, here Sri Priyadashni. Today, as part of our team review, I'll zoom in what makes this movie a powerhouse. Its motivations, message, and the way it hits audience right in the heart. Let's go. First, motivations. It's Upload 13 isn't just about space, it's a masterclass in what drives us when everything's on the line. Think of Jim Lovell, played brilliantly by Tom Hanks, steady, calm, the guy who dreamed of the moon in his whole life. When the explosion rips through their ships, turning a routine machine into fight for survivals. His motivation shift from glory to getting home. When he said, "Houston, we have heard a problem," his voice is steady as steel. And the other ground, Gene Kranz, Ed Harris, and rallies his team with "failure is not an option." That line, it etched in history. It's This movie motivates us by showing ordinary people, engineers scribbling on blackboards, and families praying, tapping into extraordinary resolve. It's kind of movie that makes us want to tackle our own problem, our own crisis, whether it is tough exam or a career setbacks. Now the message. Upload 13 whispers teamwork saves lives. No single hero wins here. It's a symphony of minds. That's the team spread. It the message is innovation thrives under pressure. We reminded that America space program wasn't just rockets. It was humanity best shots at impossible, but it is deeper. In the divided world, the film units as our own shared purpose. The message for today: collaborate, adapt, never quit. Uh, Never quit. Ron Howard nails it without letting attention speak. And the audience impact. This movie doesn't just entertain, it transforms. Kids leave inspired to dream big, while adults walk away rethinking their failures. It's not depressing, it's empowering. Critic loved it, and it won 2 Oscars. Millions rewatch in the YouTube. It impact us the blending true event, proving movies can educate and elevate. So as we splash down from upload 13, remember, motivation fuel us, message guide us, and great film like this change us. It's not just a movie, it's launchpad for the human spirit. Thank you.
So, I'm Sudeep. I'm here to explain about the overall and final verdict of Upload 13 movie. On overall, Upload 13 is a powerful and memorable film that successfully turns a real-life space mission into an emotional and inspiring story. What makes the movie special is that it does not rely on fictional drama or exaggerated actions. Instead, it focused on real human emotions and problem solving and teamwork during an unexpected crisis. And the movie shows how a small technical failure can lead to a life threatening situation, and how calmly thinking and cooperative we can overcome even the most difficult challenges. Throughout the film, both the astronauts in space and the team on the Earth remains focused on one goal: bringing everyone home safely. This scene of this unity and sharp responsibility makes the movie very engaging and meaningful. So another strong aspects of Upload 13 is the realistic storytelling. Even feeling genuine, and the audience can clearly understand the tension and pressure faced on the character. The performance of nature and convincing, especially by Tom Hanks, who brought in fear, hope, the leadership in his very balanced way. The supporting character always play important role in showing how every individual's contributed matters. And the technical details and discussions through something slow add depth to the movie. They help the audience realize how serious the situation is and how carefully each decision makes me made. Instead of being boring, this moment shows the importance of patience, planning, and accuracy when lives are at risk. Emotional, the movie contends strongly with the audience. It highlights the themes of trust, determination, and belief of human capability. The film reminds us that even when things go wrong, giving up is not an option. The famous idea behind the mission is the failure is not acceptable, create a strong emotional impact, and leaves viewers feeling inspiring. In the final moment, the safe returns of the astronauts feels truly awarding, because the audience was witnessing every struggles along the way. The movie leaves a lasting message that success is not just about the achievement, but about realizing the teamwork during difficult times.
On the final verdict, in conclusion, Apollo 13 is an excellent film that combines realism, emotions, and inspiring. It teaches valuable lessons about cooperation, problem solving, and staying calm under pressure. The movie is meaningful and motivating. The rating of the movie can be 4.5 out of 5. And I highly recommended movie to see the all of them. Thank you.